Hi, everybody. Again, greetings. Rahubat. Good evening, good day. This is going to be a little bit more longer of a video to give a little bit more details of the spiritual, we want to say twilight, because the vibration of the planet is 789D. So what we weren't able to see from before, now we can to the naked eye. 789D is where it ties into people who were waiting for judgment to start, that were roaming, right? And they were very carnal, or they died from violent means, or they had an attachment to a family member that they didn't want to leave, or whatever have you, that made them more grounded to earth. I'll refer to the movie Ghosts with Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, and Whoopi Goldberg. That movie was pertaining to in the 80s, that he had a business deal with his partner, a best friend or a good friend of his, and he was slighted. This is Patrick Swayze, the main actor, white male, and the business deal was a cheat on his best friend, and because of some sort of a money that was due to him and his newly married wife, they got an apartment and was fixing it up, and then Patrick Swayze died. So he became a disembodied soul, a ghost walking on earth, because his death was not retributed. This is where judgment comes in to be explained, that souls that are disembodied, meaning they don't have a physical body, but they are, as we say, we are physical, more physical, having a spiritual experience. The reason why this is kind of like a crossover of dimensions is because a lot of us are still alive, and so there is a zero-time reference planned by the Most High, or hierarchy, that gives souls the entrance to the earth realm, labeled as a school, that souls come here, that there are already natives here that live here, that we come down to teach them how to get out of jail. The only way to get out of what we say is jail for karmics that have, in this particular realm, set only as a quarantined place for testing safely in an environment that looks naturally, visualistically, not a traditional jail. It's a setting that's put into motion to give people real life experiences that only enter into this realm through what we call a transference from higher up, that the essence, spirit, soul, right, comes down to earth and are born in this realm. That's how we get spirits to come down here from higher up, and also vice versa, lower down, that's satisfied in a more purgatory type of place with harsher lessons. If those souls have not attributed enough karmic debt satisfied, then they stay down there until they do, and then on their best behavior, then they come up to earth as a middle ground to continue to excel. So this is the process of hierarchy, sharing with everybody. This is how it works. So that makes total sense. So everybody who's having a mix-up of what I accessed as Yanun, I followed the formula. He said, do soul searching in isolation. That's the time you meet your maker and you ask a lot of questions. But what happened was, we were so bombarded by people who were threatened by leaving out of our ship that's a stepping stone of a longevity of a testing place, that's a planetary ship, that's a new level outside of the earth atmosphere and realm, that gives souls a lot more time to get acclimated to a longer life than 65 years, the mortality rate, or 120 years at least, that cutoff mark of 120 earth years, only allotted for testing. Most people don't make it to that far because of the lifestyle on earth. So we, as angelic beings, reincarnate down here to be in this realm, because our energy is so high and positive and high vibrating that you all hear my tone change as somebody that's listening. That's not good, right? They are basically, again, I say that because it's disturbing. If you are down here and you're born down here, you only know the body's the temple of the Most High. Then we got all these ancestors that are not good. And Yanun taught about that person should never infiltrate, right, disrespectfully right now to bombard themselves. But it's an attraction power that whatever she heard, right? Since my body, again, is a communication device, very accurate, so I can pick up what you're thinking as a gift. I can pick up if you want to hurt me as a gift, and I am beyond my own vessel. So whoever it is one of those siphoning demons that is attracted to me and is listening and is consciously able to understand what I'm saying to be able to infiltrate. Now back to what I was saying pertaining to ancestors. This is a cycle that we could not move forward. So with Baba Yanun telling us he had to speed up, he said, had to speed up time, is because nobody would make it out if we stayed down here too long. We start to get acclimated to the world. And, like in the movie, They Live, in that movie from the 80s with the white guy and the black guy that put on the shades to see what's really going on down here with propaganda and them trying to get us, to trick us, as in testing, all incorporated in the matrix that makes up naturally this as a testing realm, undetected by people who are not woke or not that spiritually sound of mind to even care about what natural life on earth really truly, as I just lightly described again, is a testing realm, because we don't stay here permanently. People come through, pass through, zero time reference, your birth date, then your death date, sunrise, sunset on eulogy cards. Now, to make this surmise and not too long-winded, because we're at 6 minutes right now and 21 seconds, all right, that's why we say passing through, that the zero time reference indicates this is a testing realm. So as Dr. Malachi Z.K. York says, and in the Bible, basic instructions before leaving earth or staying, right? Because we want to bring heaven here. So it shifts that this then becomes for the earth, right? Needing to get an upgrade. Evolution does happen where people that are alive and want better can improve or advance and don't have to play or stay or be at bay with information pertaining to not being interrupted. We have to alchematize words, but it does work. That's my finesse and a skill that if I'm interrupted within me, I can say, well, bay is before anything else, and that would be me. Right. And so I woke up, and this is not about intimidating people for good looks or for talking about God that's non-threatening. If it's about a better life and a better situation for all life, omnipresently, there is no threat involved. Those who perceive that as a threat are guilty karmics, because if there is no wrong and there is no wrong that they've ever done, either way, they wouldn't really put such emphasis as me being a threat or others that are doing good, and there would be no jealousy or envy behind it. Now, with the matrix now, the eyes, right, as in if you study ophthalmology, the study of how the eyes work, they discovered scientifically, having to do with only facts, only truth. That's what science's root word means. Science, right? That the eyes, right, in virtualistic matrix is a gift. That whatever you put into life, you get out of it. So if you've led or lived, right, a noble life and did all the best you could do not to get so caught up in the world, to be in it but not of it, then that means you're not part of what they say evil is. The root of all evil is money. And money does change people. It makes them frugally selfish. It makes them covetous. Right? They have covetousness is a word that means they only harbor selfishly, frugally, right? Like a flugerod, right? That's another name. Those people in these type of realms are cursed. Canaanites, we call them, there's another name for them. Not only Caucasians. Asia is like Brooklyn and Queens, that Asia and Europe are next to each other. It's the same land with a little bit of a boundary that you cross over on the same land that has a title to have a different name of that particular area. But New York City is New York City with 5 boroughs, and the Bronx is attached to the mainland. So that's what I'm saying. And it's not even what's on the map. It doesn't even look like that. So in the spiritual sense, what you see with your naked eye is a testament of your own self. Whatever you've been doing mentally and however you've been leading and living your life during this time of shifts it gives you a real indication, like I said on my other earlier video, of your true receipt. So that can't be for anybody else. So birds of a feather flock together. Those people of a like-mindedness that weren't upright and weren't good, then those individuals would see more of what would be labeled, like I was seeing, phenomenal, weird experiences that are of a Twilight Zone nature because of the higher vibration in the air being so lucid. So even though we're physical still and we didn't pass away, what we're seeing with the naked eye in the higher vibration is more manipulated. For those who are manifested, when I say manifested, like a materializing of what was already here, more now able for us to see it in the spiritual sense of now ghosts that we say don't die. They're in a lighter formed body. That's when I said I was seeing a lot of weird things. So when they come around me, like downtown, yesterday I was at 57th Street telling them I'm not pleading and begging with whites or people who were in control, like Dr. Malachi Z. York said. He said that they were cancerous because it's like they think we're in a spiritual war. Once I woke up and my consciousness expanded, it's not for anybody else to mock me to say that just because they want to fantastically test that if they're here and they're spirits and they can't manifest around me to be physical, like in dematerializing on the movie Star Trek. Right, atoms that are in a lighter body that cannot attack us. Like the other video with the brother, he said, look, I'm royalty. And look, these white people are crowding around me. That's what I was able to do earlier in a crowded millions of people in New York City. And because of my mouth, it attracted more people since COVID to come here. So what I was doing was pitching to them. I said to them, listen, if I'm that person that I was in real estate, I had a real estate license, right? If I'm that person that is attributing God as a marketing stratagem to make everybody be accountable for their behavior as adults, because no one wants to come across as crazy. And I get that because I had that experience and I knew I wasn't crazy. And I woke up to that fact that even if I have a spiritual eye and others can't see or hear what I'm seeing, it should not be written off that I'm not experiencing that, to just sweep it under the rug because I knew what I was seeing. Now, this is the testament of empathy where others are going to have to, right, definitely not say it because they're going to feel embarrassed now that the tables turn, that people who have a spiritual eye can see what they see. And that's it. This is the 789D of 3 suns that got activated when I woke up. I went to the beach and I saw stargazing 3 suns in the sky. That's why it's so hot. The higher vibration means risk. Risk has 3 suns in the sky. That ties into Orion's belt that we're able now to visibly see. Well, I was able to see with my family, right? To see it in the sky. So that means we ascended. And those who are qualified to ascend, that can't be mooched. That can't be sarcastically thought of. It can't be believed. It has to be actual, factual, that those individuals that are the keys to see heaven as it opens up, explained right now within your sight, right within you, that when you walk, your steps are ordered, that you cannot be harmed. So we don't want to antagonize whites, as I saw yesterday, right? Certain things we do can get them irate. We don't want to agitate or overimpose, right? Since their state is already anger, and we know that's to be the low vibrational red chakra, this is a guidance that just leave them alone. We already know what it is. We don't have to keep festering and taunting them because they are violent. Not that they would hurt us, but what I saw yesterday on 57th Street by this white collared detective from whatever happened in the area, he was guarding a building down there by the 1 train. So that's by 59th, that area, right? 5th Avenue. He was guarding the building. He said, I'm too loud. I said, what am I too loud about? I said, I'm speaking about God and I'm known for that. And you're disturbing everybody in the area. No, we're not going back to that. It's a freedom and it's a free country that if I have something good to say, I'm going to say what I want. You cannot put handcuffs on my tongue. You can't do that. Because just as you telling me I can't talk, That would be a violation of a police officer that can't tell me there's no law that he and I both knows that freedom to express yourself, revealing what you're thinking makes me even lesser of a threat if he thought I was one, because I'm revealing my thoughts about God. And God is not a threat. So I asked him, I said, listen, this is what I went through earlier. I went through this type of thing. So I said, listen, don't you love Jesus Christ? I'm teaching the testimony of Jesus Christ. He said, you're disturbing the area. People are walking by. I said, that makes no sense. I said, listen, I'll take the higher road. Okay? If I offended you and I don't even know you, I'm speaking generalistically about the messages of God in Revelations. I said, do you believe in God? He said, I do. I said, he seemed rather agitated. Because we jumped, he seemed internally conflicted, because what he was saying, he was glitching, not a human, but it wasn't making logical sense. So this is a highlight to my family. Do not agitate people being too emotional about what it is that we can see is happening, is prophesied. We are royalty, but me seeing that in real time was a bit disturbing again. Okay? So they're going in their mind secretly within confidentiality through their own personal, customized, own secret, signified as individual mental judgment. Do not provoke them. Even a police officer standing outside in a white shirt, buttoned down, with different indications of his status in his office, that he was like, I'm too loud, and that was not true. I'm known to be loud all over social media to make everybody from COVID. In 2017, an announcement on the news, local, that they said this is the most that they've seen a hike in rise in real estate to people coming back to New York from this loud mouth right here. So they can't tell me I'm not an advocate of positivity to put the responsibility back in people's hands to be adults and conduct yourself as such. We love you. Don't provoke them. Don't get emotional about this white and black thing. Just tread lightly, mind your business, know who you are, and people who are hateful, envious, and jealous about their predicament from their own choosing with their own leisure of their willpower are pissed the fuck off. The reality is now. Smack diddly in their face. Again, smack diddly in their face. They caused whatever it is by leading and living the life that they chose. No one can rob them of that. No one can say, no, you didn't. We'll say, well, yes, you did. If you all are miserable and angry out there, the testament is don't hate on those who stayed and followed the wisdom of God and the higher ups of our ancestors that are tired, and it was prophesied that this time now we can say, well, yeah, check off list. Right, check it off. Yup, that everything happening now was already in Revelations in the Bible. So everybody that wants to see, reread it again. Take what you can with a grain of salt. Good is good. It doesn't trigger karmic testing. It is karma, because what goes around comes around. So whatever again you put in life is what people are getting back. Big doses of it to allow a testing to happen. That result is we can't feel sorry for them. Like my daughter said on another video. Have a blessed day.